DETV Sports Update is powered by DART, Delaware's transit service. Moving forward.
And welcome live to another edition of DETV Sports. We are here at our Wilmington studios on a Halloween Eve to recap some of the Week 8 NFL action. The NBA is underway. We're about a week into the NBA season, and the NFL trade deadline tomorrow at 4 p.m., as well as a little Monday Night Football coming up just around the corner between the Lions and the Raiders. First Monday Night Football game in Detroit in some time. So we'll get there. We'll talk about that. But as always, joined by the crew, Jason McCall and Matthew Maurer. Jason, as we start every show, where was Jason this weekend? What have you been up to here as we head into Monday?
Well, I was in Baltimore this weekend. For the weekend, my high school homecoming was this weekend.
There we go.
Go City beat Poly City forever. You know, one of the oldest rivalries in the country, 135 years. We won 44-6, which is our 11th win in a row. So I'm wearing my hat today. Shout out to my school, but also my school colors are orange and black. So I'm wearing my Baltimore Black Sox Negro Leagues jersey. But I was in Baltimore celebrating with my wife and some good friends from high school, and now we're back here ready to work.
Absolutely. Again, Jason, glad you're back here on a Monday. I know sometimes great to get you back in town ahead of time. And again, rocking the black and orange there. Gotta love the Halloween theme. And then Matt, I don't know if you're doing as well as Jason has done over this past weekend. A tough stretch for your 49ers, but here we are. The NBA season is a week through, so you've got a chance to check out some basketball this week as well as some football. How was your week?
Other than the 49ers, I mean, it's not too bad, you know.
That's good then. It's the first step is always in admitting that there's a problem, right? Yeah. So the 49ers have dropped 3 straight. We'll look to see if they can get back on track. 2 weeks from now, they have a bye coming up, but we will talk about all that. So let's just dive right in then, guys, and start with the 49ers, who dropped their 3rd straight with that 31-17 loss to the Bengals. Bengals actually 5-point underdogs in this game on the road out in San Fran. Joe Burrow, though, guys, looked very healthy in this one. The calf has been an issue through the first 6 weeks of the season, but in Week 8, he looked healthy, was able to get out on the move, ran for 43 yards, threw for 3 touchdowns, and the Bengals get the win. Brock Purdy had 3 turnovers in this one. Didn't play really a bad game, but the 3 turnovers proved to be crucial in the outcome against Cincinnati. 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions when trailing or tied. So a lot of the success for Brock Purdy comes when they do have a lead. Has struggled when the games have been a little bit closer, guys. So just initial takeaways, Matt, from your 49ers performance. 3rd straight loss, a little bit surprising. 3 weeks ago, we maybe thought this was the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, it was all good 3 weeks ago, and then it just came crumbling down. I mean, listen, you know, people at the beginning of the season, I told everybody, look, we're going to find out if Brock Purdy is really this guy or if he's not. I think he's still the better choice between Trey Lance and him, because I think Trey Lance needs more seasoning, thinks he needs more time. But the thing about Brock Purdy is he's only as good as when he doesn't make errors. When he starts making errors, look, you're doing too much, baby. You're doing too much. You got too much dip on your chip. You need to calm down, do your check downs, pass to some guys, and then that be it, man.
That's a nice graphic there.
You know what? It's not a nice graphic. And I got other problems with other guys. So listen, Nick Bosa, this is the other guy. Dog, we paid you all this money, dog. And every time a quarterback moves out of that pocket, even a little bit, you look like Thelma from Scooby-Doo who drops her glasses. You don't know where the person is anymore. I don't know. I'm just tired of seeing you falling on the ground and then, like, that's it. You're out of the play. If it wasn't for Hargrave, who we got from the Eagles,
That's right, yeah.
He's been really our best defensive lineman this year. Our secondary is cheeks. I don't know what happened to the secondary.
They've been on a downward spiral here.
I mean, it's bad. I mean, everybody's throwing on us. Everybody can throw on us. I mean, it's crazy. Other than our safety, who I don't even want to pronounce his name right now because I'm irritated with him as well. But listen, we got problems defensively. We got problems offensively. And at the end of the day, other than Christian McCaffrey and Ayuk, it ain't been good. And if Shanahan doesn't figure this out soon, he's going to be Mike Martz 2.0, and Brock Purdy is going to be somewhere else.
And Jason, Brock Purdy, as Matt just kind of alluded to, the big thing with him was he didn't turn the ball over. He took care of the ball, made the right choices, was kind of always a step ahead on, the ball was out as these guys were making their breaks. Wasn't the case last week. Wasn't the case the last few weeks. I know he's coming off that concussion, was cleared late in the week to get the start. We thought we might even see Sam Darnold yesterday, but we did see Brock Purdy. Your thoughts on Purdy and the 49ers?
I'll go back to a segment I watched with Shannon Sharp on one of his shows a few weeks ago. It said that Brock Purdy was not elite, and a lot of people were hyping him up to be. And Shannon Sharp's been proven right the last 3 weeks. But we also knew this already. We know that Kyle Shanahan has a system, and all the quarterbacks that have been in there have been system quarterbacks up to this point. There hasn't been really one standout quarterback in Kyle Shanahan's system, whether it's been in D.C. or in San Fran. So it's a system, and it's just sometimes the system, there's ghosts in the machine. Sometimes it happens. But I mean, to be honest, the Bengals do this every year, so it's not surprising at this point in the season. But also, let's not harp on the North Niners too bad. I'm gonna give you all a little more credit than to what most people are, because 5-3 is still 5-3. It's still a winning record halfway through the season. So a few things here and there. Got to get healthy. I mean, really, the only time the 49ers really drop games is when their health starts to fade, and that happens. It seemingly happens every year to the same people. But knock on wood for CMC right now. He is still scoring touchdowns. Anytime touchdown scoring, 18 straight games now?
That's right. Yeah, it's NFL record.
So NFL record. So he's been good all year with the FanDuel and DraftKings. So that's a bright spot. But Ayuk, like we did earlier, we said a few weeks ago, Ayuk is really the number one receiver there. So you really had to put pieces around Ayuk on the outside to make him a little bit more effective. But yeah, 3 straight. I didn't expect that, but they got to get it together. So I don't know what the next stretch of games is for them after the bye, but they got to figure things out. They might have to go back to the drawing board and do just some original plays from you don't always have to expand the playbook to win games. You can kind of condense it a little bit. You might have to right now, missing the playmaking you have and just turnovers. So you got to limit turnovers some way. So like I said, this is more indicative of the Bengals getting hot midseason than the Niners really being terrible. I mean, there's been some questionable things done during the games, but I think it's more on the Bengals just getting hot again.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Also, again, missing yesterday, notable injuries. Trent Williams out of that game yesterday. Huge loss for them up front. And then also Deebo Samuel's been out the last couple of weeks. So, again, 2 big parts of that San Francisco offense that we're missing. So we'll see if that can get them back on track. Byes coming, though, you would think, at a great time for them after dropping 3 straight. So they'll get a week to kind of regroup. But then they got to head to Jacksonville on November 12th. So it doesn't get too easier out of the bye as they're going to head and take on the Jaguars in Duval Country. So that's going to be a good one there in a couple weeks. Niners looking to regroup. The Eagles, though, they went down early to the Commanders. They come back and win the ballgame 38-31. A.J. Brown breaks the record with 6 straight games now, over 125 yards receiving. Added 2 touchdowns yesterday as well, cementing himself as one of the best receivers in the league, at least so far this season, along Tyreek Hill. Jalen Hurts really starting to get going again, guys. 319 yards, 4 touchdowns. Did look a little banged up in the game yesterday. Didn't run as much as we're used to seeing. You could see he looked a little bit in pain, hobbling a little bit throughout that game, so you're hoping that knee is okay for Jalen Hurts. But Sam Howell, 397 yards, 4 touchdowns, interception. That's secondary for the Eagles, even with the addition of Kevin Byard there early last week. Still proven that they can be thrown on, and Sam Howell's really starting to pick up his game as well the last few weeks. The Commanders went up early, guys. The Eagles were able to come back and get the victory. Just, Jason, initial takeaways from that one between the Commanders and the Eagles.
The Commanders should have swept the Eagles this year. I mean, you look at both games, it come down to last-second drives. Honestly, the Commanders have had the Eagles' number.
Yeah, they play them tough every time.
It just hasn't shown up in the win column, but they've had the Eagles' number for.
They covered almost every time.
Covered every time.
Yeah,
so I mean, and for some reason, the Eagles make Sam Howell look like Tom Brady.
I was thinking Joe Montana.
It's something it's something like he just has some extra juice when he plays Philadelphia. But like you said, the main ingredient was A.J. Brown, man. I mean, he's been on a tear. And it's crazy to say that even for the season he's having, he's still behind Tyreek Hill.
It's wild to think about.
So that's
Tyreek
wild
Hill,
to say.
but yeah,
this was but again, the Eagles are going to keep living by the skin of their teeth, and somebody's gonna get them again. Because you can't keep doing this second half stuff.
Yeah, they did it last year.
And it's happening again. So, I mean, we know the recipe for their games now, but it's going to be a team that's going to say, you know what, we're going to stop y'all in the second half, and it's not going to happen like the Jets did. But no, a good win. I mean, you came back. You went one on the road, which is always good. It was like a 2-game lead in the division now. So, I mean, something like that. So, you can hang your hat on a few things, but there's some sloppiness going on, and I wasn't a big fan of the Bayard trade because I know that he's not a great person in coverage. He's in the box. He can, hit, but coverage, not so much. So, basically got another player that you already had on your roster prior, so you need cover people,
And we'll see if he can get more acclimated as the season goes on. 5 interceptions 2 seasons ago for him in that Pro Bowl All-Pro year. For Kevin Byard. We'll see if we can get back to that with the Eagles coming up this year. Matt, takeaways there from the Eagles' victory? Anything impress you or maybe not impress you about that win yesterday?
I mean, I'm not impressed with the Eagles at all, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's not even – let me put it like this. Okay, I like pieces of what I see from them. I like – there is some really good this hurts to me best game I've seen, even though he was hobbled. So I really like that for them. That secondary, they're going to have to improve on. And I don't know if they have another sucker GM that they can get again. I mean, I'm going to be honest. The Titans, they should be investigated because they just give the Eagles anything. I mean, I'm waiting for Derrick Henry to go to the Eagles for a 7th-round draft pick. I mean, this is –
we got till 4 tomorrow.
This is a joke with what they get from the Titans every year. But, look, at the end of the day, Byard helps more than he hurts. But at the end of the day, they also have to make changes to that defense. Also, they're not getting pressure like they have in the past. Even Reddick, looks like he's getting better in getting to the quarterback. But there's games where he's out, like just out of plays. A little bit like Bosa. Like, I don't know how many sacks he has this year, but I know Bosa has 3, and he's just been out of plays at times. So, look, I think the Eagles are improving, but I do agree with Jason. You can only live by the skin of your teeth for so long before you get skinned. So at the end of the day, great win. A win is a win. There's no such thing as a bad win, but I would like to see them start to be more dominant from what I saw last year. I just am not seeing it.
Yeah, and a lot of people like to hate on Jonathan Gannon last year for the defense. He took a lot of heat, in Philly radio and in the market. Mm-hmm. But the defense looked a lot better last year under Jonathan Gannon than under the first year here of Sean Desai. It's a little bit more vanilla than what they had last year. And don't get me wrong, they never really had too many complicated coverages or defenses in general. But this year a little vanilla. Hassan Reddick does have 6.5 sacks, but again, as Matt mentioned, most of those coming late in the ball game when they're up, and then making other teams are forced to throw. More of a closer. Had he's been great as a closer so far this year for Hassan Reddick. So the Eagles and Commanders, always a tough game. So again, Eagles come back and do get the win there, but it's always a battle against Washington. Your Devontae Smith, though, as somebody you've been talking about the last few weeks, back on track, caught all 10 of his, or all 9 or 10 of his targets, 99 yards and a touchdown, able to find the end zone. It's great when they can get him back involved.
I think that's the key for the Eagles to start pulling away and being more dominant. You had to involve Goddard, and you had to involve Smith in the passing game, because I understand the A.J. Brown connection and the Godfather and best friend and all that stuff, but the ball has to spread around, because teams are going to start keying in on that eventually after a while. But the problem is when you key in on A.J., then you leave Smith open. So, but teams are starting to play like a boxing one on the football field against you guys. So eventually it's going to start working. And see, Swift had 16 carries. Mm-hmm. That's decent, but if I'm at 16 carries, I need you around at least 70, 80 yards. 57, that's pedestrian to me.
Only 3.6 yards per carry, so
yeah,
not really efficient.
Moving the ball. Yeah,
they went down early, had to throw, but yeah, Swift.
But
the last
won.
couple
No,
weeks,
you won. I mean,
the last couple weeks, Swift has been down. And what we're used to seeing from Swift around this time of the year is usually
gets injured.
Exactly. You hate to say it,
yeah.
But he usually starts to slow down around this time. Hopefully, the Eagles done a good job of limiting his touches per game and hoping to keep him healthy.
Don't put Gainwell back in because he's garbage.
Going forward, yeah, it's a tough. Fumbles during the game and then has to go on halftime and is answering DMs on Instagram. Do you guys see that one from Gainwell yesterday? Yeah, so he got a talking to today from head coach Nick Sirianni, did Kenneth Gainwell. So we're going to talk a little bit about the NFC landscape as a whole here right after we mention this one. Cowboys beat down the Rams 43-20 at home in Dallas. Stafford injured that thumb. It came out today. I believe it's a sprained thumb He is day-to-day going forward. Dak Prescott, though, guys, really starting to get into a rhythm. We haven't been the biggest Dak Prescott fans here on the show, but it's starting to look good. 25 of 31, over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns yesterday. Did have the 1 interception. Also starting to run the ball just a little bit more, something he did as a rookie and in his second year, but we haven't seen too much out of him the last few seasons. Did have 19 yards on 4 carries. Has the highest Pro Football Focus grade as a quarterback in the last 2 weeks, 93.2. Tony Pollard has been more, pedestrian here, 12 carries, 53 yards, but CeeDee Lamb with a big one, 12 catches, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Jason, they're starting to get CeeDee Lamb more involved, something they weren't doing early in the season.
I mean, well, it's about time. CeeDee Lamb is a weapon. He's a top pick for a reason. He's a downfield threat every time the ball is snapped. So you have to incorporate him. But I'm also need CeeDee Lamb to learn how to run the full route tree. That's really his problem. It's not a thing about speed. It's not a thing about him getting the ball from Dak. It's about him not being able to run the full route tree yet. And this is what, year 4, year 5? Learn the route tree. That's why he doesn't get the ball all the time. That's why you still had to add players like a Gallup and a Brandon Cooks, because Lamb does not run the full route tree. And you complain about getting the ball, but if you run the full route tree, it can put you in the slot. It can put you on the outside. It can move you around. He doesn't move around enough. Yeah. And most of the big name receivers in today's game can be moved around. They can be X, they can be flanker, they can be anything out there and still get the ball. So I'm challenging CD to step up to be that kind of receiver. Because we know what speed he has. Know he can catch pretty much whatever comes his way, but he has to be more consistent with it. But it was a great game for him. I'll say yes. I don't beat up on Dak as much as other people do, but he's putting together a few good games. No, it's hate week for you guys with the Cowboys and Eagles.
Sunday,
so I'm leaving alone.
Game of the week.
I'm leaving alone. That's out my hair. But the Rams are the Rams. I didn't expect them to win this many games anyway. So every game for the Rams this year is like it's icing on the cake, because I didn't expect anything from them, to be completely honest. Stafford being hurt, that means Stetson Bennett might get a chance to play. I mean, they're like the same person.
So. Yeah, that's impressive. That's pretty high praise for Stetson Bennett. We'll see if we see him again. He's been away from the team with that injury. Could be Brett Rippon time again this weekend.
Rippon.
So we'll see what happens.
Is that the nephew of Mark?
I think it's his son, I believe.
It is.
It's his son. Well, I haven't heard that Rippon name since '91 with the Skins.
Well, if you're a Rams fan, you're hoping not to hear that again this weekend, as you're hoping Matthew Stafford can get the start there. But guys, Dallas defense, Matt, blocked a punt. They had a safety, an interception, a touchdown, sacks. They are again,
everything.
Right now. They that's a trifecta. They did it all. It's a full house for the Cowboys defense. They've been fantastic all year long. Number 1 defense in all kinds of categories: turnovers, touchdowns, you name it. They already have tied the record for most, I believe, touchdowns by a defense in a season, or pick six is one of those stats there. How good is that Dallas defense, and how good are the Cowboys going to be as we kind of now let's take a look at the landscape of the NFC as a whole. Maybe run us through maybe your top 5 teams, or just where you have the Cowboys, the Niners, the Eagles, some of those teams that might be battling for that top number 1 seed in the NFC. How do you see the landscape there?
I think the NFC is incredibly weak. I think it's weaker than the AFC. I think the AFC is the tougher conference between the two. If I have to pick who I would say that are the top 5 teams right now, I'd say Philadelphia, Dallas, San Francisco, Detroit, and then probably Seattle.
Oh. Yeah, you know what? I'm with you there. And is that your order as well? Is that your 1 through 5? You have the Eagles at number 1, Cowboys 2, Niners 3, Detroit 4, and Seattle 5. Jason, that sounds pretty good to me. To be honest,
I mean, they're the same team. I would say Eagles 1. I would say
that's number 2 is the spot that I get tough at for me between the Cowboys and the 49ers. I have recency bias. You're maybe thinking the Niners have dropped 3 straight.
You know what?
That's a tough one.
I'm going to say Detroit 2.
Wow.
And that's good. I'm glad you come around on the Detroit
I'm
lines.
going to say Detroit 2.
I ain't going.
I'm going to say Detroit 2. I'm going to say
tonight. We'll talk
I'm
about
still going to say San Fran 3, because, I mean, I'm only not putting San Fran at 2 because of injuries. That's really my only reason why. Detroit 2, San Fran 3, Dallas 4, and Seattle 5.
Yeah, I think I have the same 5 teams, just as you guys. And you look maybe on the outside looking in, and to me, when you look at the 5 teams that we talked about, I'm kind of a little bit of a drop off, if you will, after those 5 teams, at least through 8 weeks. Minnesota's in that playoff range right now at 4-4, but they lose Kirk Cousins. for the rest of the year with that Achilles. Atlanta 4-4. They lead that division, but you don't expect anything from them either.
I'll be honest. I'm with Matt on this. The NFC is coconut water. Really, if we're going to be completely honest, after Philly, Dallas, and San Fran, whichever order you throw it, it's a crapshoot after that.
Yeah. Well, you had Detroit at number 2, so you're not putting Detroit in that epsilon there of those 4 teams.
Only because they haven't done it for long enough.
Okay.
NFC South.
NFC
trash.
Yeah, we just disregard that conference, I guess. I mean, we remember we went around and picked the favorites there. That was a tough one to choose. Earlier in
here's
the
thing, right? If you look at the records now, you still have a chance of either New Orleans or Tampa Bay sneaking to the playoffs.
Right.
The records right now.
Right.
And that's saying a lot.
Or Atlanta. Atlanta's leading that division. If it were to end right now, they would be in the playoffs.
They finally let Taylor Heineke play.
And what happened this week?
I mean,
And we'll talk about that, I think, in a little while. But Taylor Heineke comes in. He relieves Desmond Ridder. We all said 6-7. We get
God's
him in week
quarterback.
8. We were close there.
That's God's quarterback right there.
I think going forward, I think their outlook for them, I think, is better going forward with Heineke as opposed to Ridder, who has looked a little bit better. He's still not good, but
Ritter's
he has looked a little bit better.
Get Ridder out of here.
The last few weeks. But we all agree, I think, with the NFC. As it stands right now, we have the same 5 teams. I think we all have the Eagles as the number 1 team. I think it's so close, though. I think it's a toss-up between those 3, as Jason alluded to there. So the NFC.
I mean, you talk about Ridder, you said look a little better, but I mean, whether it's dumpster trash or trash can trash, it's kind of still trash.
You know what Ridder rhymes with, right?
Yeah.
That's about what it is.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it there. That's the NFC. Let's stick with the NFC, but some of the teams that maybe not are battling for some of those playoff spots, at least right now. And that is the Packers, who started off the season hot, Matt. They get beat, though, by the Vikings here 24-10 in Green Bay. They've been struggling mightily late, recently in the last few weeks, but Kirk Cousins, guys, out for this season. And Kirk Cousins is a topic of discussion on this show
Captain
a lot.
Mid.
And there he is.
Oh,
Captain Mid. And again, Captain Mid has
dog.
elevated his gameplay. I think the last couple of weeks they lose Jefferson. I thought he's been playing
Is he
well.
saying ouch right there?
I think he's
He's Captain High Level Mid.
it's right. It's an
High
upgrade.
level mid.
High level mid.
How do you explain that to someone? High level
He's high
mid.
level mid. He's high level
So
mid.
is that
The
like
upper level of mid.
So is that like 89 octane instead of like 87?
right?
Like
Yeah. He's high level
91
mid.
and 93. There's 91,
Yeah,
I guess.
exactly.
Okay. That's what. Okay.
Either
Shout
way, high level mid is gone for the rest of the year. The Vikings had made a run. Now they were
on
actually
a non-contact injury
in the playoff hunt with that
kind of
win.
makes sense for him in a weird way.
It
No
was-
shots taken.
Knock
Four
on
and
wood.
four
I'm not
guys, though,
listening to
after
him.
that
Yeah,
win
knock on
yesterday, they're now 4-4. They were positioned now in a spot to, if the season were to end today, they'd be in a playoff team. But they lose Kirk Cousins now. They are 500. The outlook not looking great for Minnesota going forward. Jordan Love, though, on the Packers side, continues to struggle. He has looked pretty bad the last few weeks as well for Green Bay. And again, he's not a rookie. He's been there for a couple of years now. So they're going to have some decisions to make there. He went 24 of 41, completing under 59% of his passes, 229 yards, a touchdown, and interception. Does get some of that garbage time stuff going. So that affects the stats there. But, guys, let's talk about the Vikings and the Packers. Jason, look like you're ready to get going here. Where are you going to start, Vikings or the Packers?
I'm going to do both teams, but I'm going to go with the Packers first. Who was Jordan Love really throwing to? Let's be honest.
Christian Watson,
Who was Jordan Love throwing
Romeo
to?
Dobbs.
Who was he throwing to?
One more guy missing.
Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Luke
Don't
Musgrave.
worry. I'll wait.
Yeah,
Who's he throwing
nobody.
to? Okay, thank you. All right.
Yeah. Nobody.
Hey, I think Christian Watson's okay. I think.
He's throwing
So
to no one.
For the record, you're blaming his. You're saying if Jordan, like if you were to put Jordan Love in Detroit with the Lions,
Put Jordan Love in Minnesota.
Anywhere.
or any, you're thinking
Anywhere else that has a decent supporting
Really?
cast at wide receiver.
I don't. This is where I think we had the first disagreement of the show.
Well, let me say this about Jordan Love. To be fair,
That's what I'm saying.
I think-
You've been.
I think
a
I know
guy,
where
right?
you're going, and I'm going with this too. But I partially agree with Jason. The problem with Jordan Love is this: mentally, I've never liked what I've seen from him. But
I think he's thinking too
he's
much.
got the arm. He's a big kid.
He's athletic.
And let's be honest, Packers, they're a team that they don't pay their wideouts to stay there. So they're going to always go hunt in the draft to go get a guy. They've been really good at doing that. I mean, they've picked some really good guys over the years. But, I mean, look, to be fair to Jordan Love, I just don't know if they've really given him what he needs to succeed there. I don't really know that, to be fair to him.
And I'm with you there. I'm leaning more towards the side of, to me, it's the pre-snap recognition, him going through his progressions during the play. Yeah. I mean, he looks like he's thinking just too much. Like he's kind of overwhelmed with some of that stuff. You're right, but when he just kind of lets it go, can let it rip, I think he's looked good, in some of those plays. What do you think?
He's also missing the running game right now, so
You're right. Again, no David Bakhtiari. They had one of the best offensive lines coming into the season. No Jenkins, no Bakhtiari. That's been rough for him as well.
And then Jones being in and out the lineup.
Huge. And I think he's their most talented skill player by far. So him dealing with that hamstring injury, that has not helped him out at all either. So again, it's hard to judge here. And I think also we have to take a look, in my opinion, at Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur was recognized as one of the best young coaches coming up when he had Aaron Rodgers, and Rodgers kind of ran the show offensively. They won some games, made some runs, a little bit of playoff there. I think now we're going to see how good of a coach and offensive coordinator and play caller is Matt LaFleur. You had Aaron Rodgers. You had Devontae Adams for those first couple of years when you got there. Last year was a little bit of a struggle, but you did have Aaron Rodgers with those young guys. You had a little bit of success. Now, a lot of it's falling on you. You've got Jordan Love. He hasn't looked good. Some of those same guys that you had last year. And if you're as good as I think people said you are, or maybe as, some of the recognition has been with him the last few years, I think they should be performing better offensively than they are. I know there's a lot of stuff going on. I know they're, dealing with some stuff that has them behind, the ball, if you will, but I still think they should look a little bit better. You don't agree?
No, I actually agree with you that they should be better. But, I mean, when you don't have the stars, you're really forced to actually do work. And a lot of people can't really do
and that's the
real work. Mm-hmm. But switching gears to the Vikings, Minnesota, you need to be on the phone right now before 4 o'clock p.m. tomorrow and getting somebody from somewhere, because that quarterback is not in your locker room right now.
So let me ask you this. So if you're in Minnesota, I mean, you're 4-4. You're in the playoff hunt now. You're going for it.
I am at 4-4. You have to go for it still.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like, you have to get it, because what you're hoping is Jefferson comes back around like week 13, 14.
Yeah, okay.
You're still hoping for that?
And again, there's some
And there's wiggle room in the NFC anyway. So
and there's some foggy stuff there too, because he's in the last year of his contract. He didn't get the big deal that he wanted from Minnesota. So and he was a big Kirk Cousins fan. Kirk Cousins, a free agent after this year, and there's a 90% chance he is not going to be back in Minnesota. That's kind of been the word. He'll be leaving. He already had that $80 million contract guaranteed. He'll be somewhere else or somewhere next year. So how does Justin Jefferson react to that? He wanted Kirk Cousins back. That's not going to happen. He's hurt. He didn't get the deal. That didn't happen. Is Justin Jefferson going to be somewhere else next year?
Oh, more than likely.
You think so?
I mean,
I think they're going to have to offer him a huge contract. You have to offer him a huge contract.
But the thing is, you offer him a huge contract and you don't get a quarterback, then what?
And that's the issue. That's why this injury, I think, really makes things even more foggy going.
But I mean, I think Kirk Cousins, this is going to be his last year there either way, injured or not. I mean, because I think all the guarantee money he's gotten from the Vikings over the years.
Yeah, they're not going to pay him.
They're not going to keep paying him that money.
No.
Again, you have to pay Justin Jefferson. You have to pay him.
Yeah.
That's how robbery he was getting anyways.
I don't think Justin. You know what? Let me rephrase my statement. I'm gonna go back on it. I'm gonna backtrack. I don't think Justin Jefferson will walk. I think he'll stay with the money.
Okay.
But it's gonna be a catch to that. He's gonna pick who the next quarterback's gonna be.
Yeah, I think he should have that opportunity. I mean, when you're Justin Jefferson with that team,
I do think that he's gonna have a say in who the quarterback is coming in next year. I think that's gonna be an incentive for him to stay. The contract plus him be able to choose.
And I hate to say this, but I think if I'm Minnesota, the guy that probably fits them the most is not Ryan Tannehill. But I'd actually go, if I'm on the phone, I'd go New Orleans and go get Jameis Winston.
I was thinking the same thing. I'd go get Jameis right now.
Go get him.
I go get Jameis. I literally was going to say it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Jameis right now.
They need something. Commanders.
He can sling it. He doesn't have the greatest, but, hey, he seems to be a guy guys like to be around. Go get him. Ryan Tannehill is not going to do anything for them. He can barely feed
right now too.
He can barely feed the guys he gets. And
I love the Jameis option.
Yeah.
I think they should do that.
And the Commanders also have been receiving calls on Jacoby Brissett. They said a few teams have reached out. I wonder what those teams are. So
he's more of a game manager though.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
He might win you a game.
And he runs a heck of a quarterback sneak. That big fella. I'll tell you, he can get you.
But I think Jameis can get
them like
3 games.
Yeah,
4 games.
4 games. Yeah, I do.
So let me ask you this though, Matt. Now about Kirk Cousins and Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Where do you see Kirk Cousins next year? Yeah, obviously, it's not going to be Minnesota. What team do you think would he fit the best with? And there are some rumors going on now too that this is obviously an audition year for Jordan Love. Is he? And this might sound crazy. I know you guys are going to say yes, he'll be a Packer next year, but there are some rumblings in Green Bay. They don't like what they see.
I'm gonna ask part one. Answer part one to your question. You said where do I see Kirk Cousins next year?
Right here.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of rumors that him and Kyle Shanahan from the Redskins times, Commanders.
I don't see it. I'm gonna throw a sleeper in there.
I don't know. I'm with.
I'm gonna throw a sleeper team in there.
I think he'll be great.
I'm gonna throw a sleeper. The team I'm gonna name go what? But I don't think they like Mac Jones in New England, so I'm saying New England.
I don't think they do either.
No, they don't.
I'm saying New England.
Hey, if they get the defense going, that's a sleeper. Yeah.
Or one more team, 3 teams, or it could be Vegas because they don't know what the hell they're doing out there.
Yeah, that's true. Who knows what's going on in Vegas?
But I think Kirk would take a pay
cut to go to San Fran. I think with the pieces, yeah.
I think he would too.
I think he would. It's
running back.
similar. It's similar to what he gets in Minnesota. What he has in Minnesota.
I think that could be
no
the
state
move.
tax on the contract, so he'll be all right.
And again, depending on how this season shakes out, Brock Purdy has been good the last 3 games, so that's definitely something to keep an eye out for there.
But again, that's one of the last thing about Brock Purdy. Whatever the Niners have received from Brock Purdy so far is a win. He was mystery relevant. Like we act like this guy wasn't the last pick in the draft.
Oh, that's a fact.
It's okay.
Well, that's the reason John Lynch got an extension. So
it's okay.
But again, just to talk about it too. Again, big link between Kirk Cousins and Kyle Shanahan from that time in Washington. There were a lot of rumors dating back to last year that they could have been looking in this direction after the season, knowing he was a free agent. So we'll see, what that deal potentially looks like, and if he goes there, it could work.
It could work.
We'll see how it goes. And again, Jordan Love, we'll see how he goes the rest of the season. It's going to be tough, I think, the rest of the way for Green Bay with a lot of those injuries. Offense hasn't been playing. I wouldn't be shocked if they start shutting some guys down. Maybe Aaron Jones here in a few weeks. We'll see. But a bad fantasy pick for me in 2023, that's for sure. All right, so guys, now let's take a look at the playoff picture in the AFC, and just to recap some of those games from the conference over the weekend. It started on Thursday when Josh Allen got back to normal, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, also ran one in the Bills' win over the Bucs, 24-18 on Thursday Night Football. The Dolphins beat the Patriots in Miami. Of course, that city undefeated, as Jason likes to say.
Sure.
Tua, 324, 3 touchdowns. Waddle, 7 catches, $120 and a score, and then Hill, of course, scores again, 112 yards in the air through him. The one that really stood out yesterday, guys, was the Denver Broncos get the Chiefs at Mile High, and they take them down 24-9. Every team scored a touchdown yesterday except for one, and it was the Kansas City Chiefs. Who would have thought that? Mahomes, 241 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, also lost a fumble. We are going to stop here and then talk about all these as a whole of the AFC. Do you want to stop here on the Chiefs? Do you want to
I want to stop here on this Chiefs
then let's talk about the Chiefs. What do you got?
Because we give everybody else smoke when they disappear. We give Lamar Jackson smoke. We give Jalen Hurts smoke. We give Tua smoke.
I don't have to hear Matt stick up for his boy here.
It is time to give Patrick Mahomes boy some smoke. He has not been himself all season, and you know it. It don't look good on paper. It don't look good on the field. He's not passing the eye test right now. This 6-2 is a bogus 6-2. They should be 4-4. I'm not sold on the Chiefs this year. I am not. And Patrick Mahomes only has 7.8 points in fantasy last week. His lowest fantasy number ever.
Worst game technically of his
career ever.
And now, but let me ask you this, Jason. We sat here at this desk a year ago and had similar conversations. I don't think it got this bad, but we all talked about they've got no receivers. What are they going to do? And they go on and they win the Super Bowl. Is it different this year?
Yes. It's like he's not seeing the field all the way. Like, I've seen some throws Mahomes making this year. I'm like, who are you throwing it to, bro? Like, where are you throwing it? But I think it's more so, I can't put it all on him. I will put a lot of blame on him, but I honestly, this isn't the same defense from last year either. Like the Chiefs with the pass rush, it's not the same.
But as a whole, you could make the argument, it's a better defense in my opinion as a whole. You're right. Maybe the pass rush has been a little non-existent for this year, but as a whole, I think coming in, that defense has been good.
But here's the thing. When the Chiefs can't rush the passer, then you got to leave their DBs out on the island. They don't have the best secondary lead people on the island. So it's a combination of both things. But Patrick Mahomes hasn't. So it's crazy because we hold such a higher standard,
we do,
which is understandable. So he's not playing at his level of football yet this year. I don't think he has played it yet.
I agree with you there. But Matt,
so that's my thing.
And now, Matt, let's go to the Patrick Mahomes defender here.
Yeah.
There's usually not a lot you have to defend Patrick Mahomes for because he is usually the best quarterback in the league. Wasn't the case yesterday.
Sure.
Russell Wilson, who has had a better season altogether in terms of quarterback, in totality than Patrick Mahomes, welcomes him in there. He takes him down. Is it Patrick Mahomes or is it the receiving help? Because I'll be honest with you, Matt, they do not. We talked about the weapons for the Packers.
Yeah.
I think Mahomes would love to have some of those receivers that the Packers have with the ones that they got in Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, listen, here's the thing about Pat Mahomes. It's funny to me because we do hold him to a standard. We hold him to, I think, an insanely high standard. Mm-hmm. So Patrick Mahomes is having a down year. Yeah. So what do we mean by down year? Well, he's third in passing yards. He's having a down year. He's fifth in touchdowns. So when we say he's having a down year, we got to be careful about that because what we're really saying is he's not having this uber elite. But, yeah, here's the thing. We're giving Kirk Cousins all early MVP votes.
Who's doing that?
No, a lot of people have.
It's not here.
No, not you, but I'm saying much of the people out here in the media stratosphere.
Kirk Cousins, though, more yards, more touchdowns, less interceptions this year than Patrick Mahomes.
Right. Now, here's the thing. Stay right there. Mm-hmm. So he has 3 more touchdowns than Pat Mahomes and what? 200 more yards? Maybe 100 more yards?
Yeah, probably less than 100. Yeah.
Less than 100 more yards, and we're ready to give Kirk Cousins MVP.
We is French.
Oh,
I'm not doing that.
Okay. Well, let's just put it like this.
Hey.
The glomerate of Kirk Cousins fans out there not here. But the problem I'm having is this. Yes, I fully agree. Pat Mahomes is not playing the way he's been playing. Last game he had, they said he was. Now, look, I can only say what they said. They said he had flu. They said he was up.
Flu-like symptoms?
Flu-like symptoms. Said he was on IVs the night before and all this other stuff. So, look, excuses, sure. Has he played, even if you take away this game, the way that he's used to playing? No. So even with this one game, which this little snafu, let's just call it a snafu, he hasn't played the way that we're used to Pat Mahomes playing. But at the end of the day, they still have a good record. He's still in the top 5 of all quarterbacks. Yeah. I mean, like, this is what we're talking about when we say that Pat Mahomes isn't having a good year. Any other quarterback, we're literally saying they're great.
We did Brady the same way.
When?
I did.
Oh, and now we got Dennis putting up another potential reason for the Chiefs' lack of offense.
I like it a lot.
It's something we didn't know about Eric Bieniemy. Obviously, his first year not as
let me out, dog. I'm not buying that one.
And he was with the Commanders yesterday, helping Sam Howell put up almost 400 yards.
Respect to Bieniemy, by the way, who I think has been maligned because of where he's at, and I don't agree with how he was treated by people and his talent, because I do think Bieniemy is a talent. Mm-hmm. But I just think at the end of the day, look, no matter how we feel, I dare somebody to name me a Kansas City guy. He didn't have a touchdown. He had a touchdown. Sky Moore literally dropped it.
Saw that one.
It was in his hands, dropped it. Sky Moore, who, by the way, I'm going to be nice about this. I picked you up in fantasy, and I thought I was going to get a sleeper. I said, I'm getting a sleeper here. Sky Moore, picked him up. You ain't been a sleeper, dog.
And again, coming in, I know we did our draft
you
2
asleep.
years ago. I had Sky Moore as, right outside that first round, second round grade on the receiver. I like Sky Moore a lot out of Western Michigan. Hasn't really caught. Again, he's open. He's getting open. He runs good routes. I think it's the wear. I don't like the wearing of number 24. Looks like a running back.
Yeah.
I think he's got to go to receiver number.
They are so desperate for talent. They went and got traded back to go get McCall Hardman. This is how bad it is right now.
Though, we haven't talked about it, but the big issue that's been raised, obviously, across the country is he has no weapons. These guys can't get open. Rashee Rice had a huge drop as well yesterday in that game. Do they, tomorrow, 4 p.m., you talked about it, the NFL trade deadline on Halloween, is these one of the teams? They don't have a lot of draft stuff left to hand out to bring guys in with all that they've done and stuff like that. Do they have to make a move? Can they make a move?
Kansas City. If you're looking for a receiver, I'm going to say who I'd be a name.
Yourself? I think you're talking like you're going to get out there yourself. You need a receiver.
Not me. That's come and gone.
I got one.
Hollywood Brown.
That's who I was going to.
Been saying.
Hollywood Brown.
Yep. And Arizona is throwing everything for Caleb Williams. So go get him.
Hey, and again, Kyler Murray is questionable for this weekend.
He's coming back.
I don't know what they're doing. How do you not sit him the rest of the year, in my opinion? You're going for Caleb
because
Williams.
They're not going to keep him either.
And that could be it.
That's why.
And that could be it. Something to keep an eye on. Going forward.
Kyler Murray, the Fraggle, is coming back, man.
Speaking of the Cardinals, Ravens beat them yesterday 31-24. Lamar, $157 and a score. Didn't really have to do too much in this one. They kind of just got the win. Andrews, 4 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown. I will say this, guys. We talk about bad beats on the program.
This is a very bad beat.
I mean, Jason, the whole parlay was filled out except for this one. I had the Ravens minus 8.5.
I know. I did.
They stopped the 2-point conversion, Jason, with a minute
was
left.
31-21.
I turned it off, Jason. The game was over. They didn't get the 2 points. I started to celebrate. All right. I turned it off. I checked my phone 10 minutes later.
It's wrong.
And I'll tell you what happened. It was the botched onside kick.
Oh, my
Aguilar
God.
didn't run to the ball.
I couldn't believe it. I was going through the stats and plays.
No, Aguilar didn't run to the ball. He let the ball bounce in the air, and the Cardinals recovered the onside kick and kicked the field goal. And that's why I got the score.
I mean, I'd never seen. I know we're talking about gambling here for a second. I had never seen anything like
all
that.
you had to
that
do
one was killed me.
All you had to do was snatch the ball in the air.
That's game over.
And kneel on the clock.
And not only that, the Cardinals choose to kick a field goal. 1, 2, they make the field goal. 3,
it was the worst beat I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it was
and I do want to highlight one guy on the Cardinals. If you're in fantasy, pick up Trey McBride.
Trey McBride, huge game for the rookie,
But,
second year, I
game,
believe, tight end out of Colorado State.
This game should have been 31-10.
Yes, it should have. It absolutely should have.
31-10. But I will say this: let's give Lamar Jackson some credit, like for real this time. Like,
No, I ain't good.
in his career,
Nope.
17-1 versus the NFC. 17-1. I'm just going. You can't make the number up.
And I want to say just real quick,
17-1.
I think one of the first or second in terms of highest win percentage in his first 65 games in the NFL as a starting quarterback.
Yes,
so a
also.
big record there
Yes.
For Lamar Jackson. They, though, not really, I don't think, in my opinion, Jason, too much to take away from this one. Ravens just took care of business in Arizona. 2 back-to-back wins. Again, they dismantled the
6-2.
Lions last week and then take care of the
Run your
Cardinals
mouth
here.
now.
Ravens are looking good in that AFC North.
Run your mouth now.
Let me say something about the Ravens real
Yeah.
quick,
Run your mouth. Let's go.
especially Lamar Jackson.
Run your mouth.
Look, man,
Run your mouth.
Lamar, the offense still ain't what I thought it was going to be. Okay? Everybody said you was going to air it out.
It did last week. I think they're just kind of going with the punches.
But nah, seriously, I'm joking when I say this because really, I really want to applaud Lamar because I don't know how he's doing it. I gotta be honest with you. Look, that offense, when your best wide out is a rookie and he's still figuring things out, and you have Mark Andrews who's been great, and your best running back, and look, I mean, no disrespect,
Gus Edwards.
is Gus Edwards. That's Mike Tolbert
Gus the
2.0.
Bus.
The Gus bus.
Listen, I don't know how Lamar is doing it. I got to be honest with you. I know the numbers aren't what people thought were going to be, but listen, if we're going to give Jalen Hurts all this credit for winning, you got to give Lamar credit for winning because honestly, I don't know how he's doing it. I got to be honest.
It's got to be, I think,
really
Jason, MVP conversation
He
this year, right?
he has to be. But before
Tua,
we get,
Hurts,
but before we get
Lamar.
there, I'll say this. Gus Edwards has really been the Ravens' best running back for the last 3 years. Just hasn't stayed healthy for a whole season.
Yeah, and that all of them can't.
But especially Gus. Like Gus was drafted for a reason.
Yeah.
And when he gets the ball, when he gets touches, this is what you get. And he's getting hot right now. 3 touchdowns yesterday.
Ravens, though, one of the main team that has been brought up in the rumors about looking for a running back.
Yeah, I heard Derrick Henry all week long.
For Derrick Henry. Obviously, the Titans, as of right now, are not looking to trade him, but that could change in the next 24 hours. I think it's 50-50. They say they're not. I think it's 50-50 right now that they get rid of him. Titans, again, I think they get rid of Byard. They're now going to start about Levis. We'll talk about him in a second.
Levis played yesterday.
We'll talk about that here in a second. And let's talk first, though, about the Chargers taking care of the Bears. Not really much to talk about this one on Sunday Night Football. Kind of a snoozer. Herbert, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Eckler getting back. Good to see him getting back in the end zone with those receiving yards. Keenan Allen did what Keenan Allen does. Tyson Bagent, Division II quarterback from Shepherd. Shout out to Jeff Ziemba, St. Mark's quarterback, who was the starter before Tyson Bagent was there at Shepherd. So D2 quarterback in the NFL.
That's a Snapple fact for them.
Wow.
Yeah,
Serious Snapple fact.
Kind of went as we thought, though, right?
Shout out to Spartans.
So what do you guys think? Obviously not too much when you're talking about the Bears here,
about this
Matt.
game,
But
bro.
just quickly, Chargers take care of the Bears at home. Anything stand out to you there?
No, the Bears are just bad.
It was a bad game. We're going to move on. Here
Yeah.
now, the Chargers. Jaguars, though, Jason, in the AFC North beat the Steelers. One of the teams that's been looking good. 20-10. Trevor Lawrence, 292 a score.
We got to talk about the Steelers.
And then
real quick.
Travis Etienne looking good in that one. Steelers, who have somehow been able to win games. They do drop this one here. Still 4-3, though, on the season are the Pittsburgh Steelers. Guys, quickly, what do you think there, Matt?
Please.
The Steelers right now are in DEFCON 3. because I don't know if their QB is their guy. That when I watch him play, I don't see it. Trubisky looked better than him in there, and that's terrible to even talk about. I just don't see it.
Got to fire Matt Canada.
He can't connect. He cannot connect with George Pickens, who I think, if he has a competent quarterback, I think Pickens can be a top 10 wideout. It's crazy to me. I don't know what they're going to have to do. Freiermuth, who I think is just wasting away his way. Yeah, he's a guy that's on IR. They're missing him. But listen, Steelers got to figure this out. This offense is bad.
It's bad. I mean, offensive line isn't good. You mentioned the quarterback play has been bad. But again, to me, I'm looking at the coaching. I'm looking at Matt Canada, the only offense that hasn't had 400 yards in the past 3 seasons since he's been there. I mean, that is an unbelievable statistic. They are just awful offensively. There needs to be a change, and I love Mike Tomlin, one of the best coaches in the league, and he's a very loyal guy sticking next to his offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. But, Jason, now's the time. You got to get rid of this guy.
That's the problem. Tom is going to be too loyal to a fault, and he's going to be the one that falls on the sword.
Again, never had a season under 500.
After a while, but yeah, I agree. Matt Canada has to go, but you and I can play quarterback back there better now than anybody have. It's
been pretty much.
But I mean, I'm not complaining about them losing.
Right. Yeah, you're one of the guys
but,
that are happy.
However, it sucks to see talent like Freiermuth and Pickens wasted.
Yeah.
And what the hell is going on with Najee Harris? Does anybody explain what's going on?
Just not looking like a first-round pick.
Can't get out of the breaks. That O-line is so bad it gets swallowed up by the time he gets moving. He's like Derrick Henry. He has to build up speed. And when you knock him out the first couple steps, it's hard for him to get going.
But they're hard to watch. I mean, they're already hard to watch anyway. But they're extremely hard to watch.
I agree.
Like, you only watch the Steelers for the defense at this point.
Yeah.
You watch for
TJ Watt is by far their best player.
You watch the game.
I mean, he scores. He has more touchdowns than most of the offensive players have.
Yeah, and Minka went down, didn't he?
Yeah, Minka went down.
Hamstring. Now he's out for Thursday. Kenny Pickett questionable coming in to the matchup of Thursday Night Football with the Titans. So, guys, after we talk about those AFC matchups there, let's talk now and rank our AFC teams before we head into our Halloween segment here. It's been 8 weeks. Give me maybe your top 5-6 teams in the AFC. Jason, I'll start with you here. Who's your number 1 team in the AFC? And will it be a homer pick?
It will not be a homer number 1. I'm going to go Miami 1.
Miami, okay.
I'm going Baltimore 2.
Yeah.
I'm going KC 3. Jacksonville 4. And I'm going to go Cincinnati 5.
This is a tough one here. So Jason leaving the Bills out of his top 5 teams there. For me, I'm going to stick with Miami 1. I agree with that. I'm going Dolphins 1. My boy Mike McDaniel for Coach of the Year. Number 2, it's hard to go against the Ravens with what they have done offensively and defensively. I didn't think I'd have them 2. I'm going to still keep Kansas City 2 for now. I think Mahomes, they'll get that figured out offensively. I'm going to go Ravens 3, Buffalo 4, Cincinnati 5, Jacksonville would be my 6th team. But that's a tough one. To me, they're all right next to each other.
Think about this. If you look at the top.
But the Bills losing those injuries on defense is tough.
You can put the top 10 AFC teams in the NFC, and they would
run right through
it.
Yeah.
NFC's top heavy. Definitely, I'm with you there.
Yeah, 1, 2.
Yeah.
Matt, what are you thinking here?
I mean, Miami's 1 to me. I'd say Baltimore's 3.
You have KC 2?
No, I have Baltimore 2.
Oh, Baltimore 2. Okay, gotcha.
I'd probably go with probably Kansas City 3. I'd go with Jacksonville 4. I go with I think Cincinnati's going to start really going, and then Jacksonville.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't have Buffalo in mind either. I had too many injuries, and
defense is tough for me.
Gotta be honest. Look, I know it's not really trying to be a hot take here. Things about Josh Allen, I think are missing from his game, and people don't want to talk about it. But the white Cam Newton, I just don't like. I'm good.
We'll see if they can get it going. But yeah, those top 6 kind of interchangeable for us here. Yeah, I've got Buffalo 5, Cincinnati 4, Jacksonville 6. But again, like you said, all those teams are really close. It's going to be switched up probably, again, if you ask us next week going forward. Now let's do a quick little Halloween segment, guys. I like to call this one Trick or Treat. So I'm going to ask you a question. Is it a trick or is it a treat? You know what I'm saying? If it's trick if you don't like it, treat if you do. So let's talk about the Titans and the Will Levis gets his first start yesterday. They beat the Falcons 28-23, we talked about Taylor Heineke coming in the game late, couldn't lead the Falcons on that comeback win, but Levis, 238 yards, 4 touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins looked like he did back when he was in Houston. So Jason and Matt, I'll ask you this one. Is it trick or treat? Is Will Levis, can he keep this up? Is he going to be the starter for years to come in Tennessee?
Trick. Trick.
Yeah. And what do you think? Why is that?
It was his first real start. First ever start. Trick. They had no actual NFL game film on them. Trick.
That's right. That's a lot of how the league goes. Matt, trick or treat, Levis going forward.
His ex-girlfriend, Gia Duddy, is definitely a treat. And I would say that Will Levis he's like a Eminem. Like, I don't think he's a treat, really. I just don't think he's a trick. I think he's going to be one of those guys in a couple years we're going to say, it's not bad. He's just not great. Like, I agree with Jason.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, that's not.
Kirk Cousins Jr. Minnesota, get on him.
Yeah, really. I'm going to lean more treat than trick, but it's a close one here. We're at the 7 with Jason. I have to see more film on him there, but a heck of a start. DeAndre Hopkins looked really good with him. I know Hopkins probably wants him to continue. Tannehill out Thursday night with that ankle injury. Quick turnaround. Levis will get the start again, so we'll know more about that one here in a few days. Saints, they beat the Colts 38-27. They're now 4-4 and tied for the division lead with Atlanta. Carr, over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kamara continues to just do everything. 17 carries, 16 a touchdown, 4 more catches. Not as many as he had last week when he had about 12 of them, but he added some more there. And Rashid Shaheed continues to be the big play threat for the Saints. So, Matt, I'll start with you on this one. Trick or treat, the Saints are going to win the NFC South.
I'm going to say trick, but if you're playing fantasy, Taysom Hill at tight end is definitely a treat.
I benched him, Matt. I benched him this week.
I started him. He won me my game.
Game time decision. I was like, man, I don't know. Juwan Johnson's coming back. We'll see.
That was
Huge
crazy.
mistake.
Juwan Johnson has been pooped all year.
Cost me the game.
He definitely been poopy.
Cost me the game. Trick or treat. Saints win the division, Jason.
It's the NFC South. I mean, the whole division is a trick.
Yeah, you're right about that.
But I'm going to go trick again.
Okay. And I had the Falcons at the beginning of the year. I'm not sure. I don't quite remember who you had.
I
had the Saints.
I think I had the Saints, but I don't. The Saints are like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde week to week. Yeah. Like, you don't know what you're gonna get from them.
That's a fact.
Like, so I really don't know.
Trick.
I'm gonna say trick. Trick.
Yeah, I gotta go. To me, it's them between me and the Falcons going forward. I like where the Saints are at, but I'm sticking with my Falcons pick from the beginning of the year. Not as confident as I was in the beginning of the year in that pick, so it's closer to me. I'm going to say trick just for that reason alone there. Jets beat the Giants in the Battle of New York. Ugly game. Goes to overtime. Zerline bangs home 2 field goals near the end of regulation and then 1 to win. In overtime, Wilson, 17 of 36, 240 in a score. Also ran for 25 yards, but did lose 2 fumbles in that game. Breece Hall had that big touchdown catch. 6 receptions for 76 yards and a touchdown. Garrett Wilson gets over the century mark. 7 catches, 100 yards. Matt, the Jets come back. They get the win, 13-10. Trick or treat, the Jets are a playoff team this year at 4-3 right now.
Trick. I just can't. I can't get down with how they win it, man. It's like watching Rudy, man. Like watching Rudy. So bad, man. So bad, man. I can't do it, man. They're like the bad news Bears offensively. I can't get with it, man.
Jason, trick or treat. They're 4-3. Aaron Rodgers, a lot of rumors he might be coming back towards the end of the season, making a playoff run.
Ain't no way,
they're
boy.
4-3.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
I'm going treat on the Jets being a playoff team.
Yo,
I believe that their defense can carry them there.
The MILF Hunter, you believe in him?
No, I did. I said the defense. The defense.
Okay.
I believe in Breece Hall. Yeah, for
What
sure.
about Zach Wilson?
I believe in Breece Hall.
Home Alone?
Breece Hall. You didn't hear me say Jack. I said Breece Hall.
Okay. I'm saying, but Zach Wilson back there, though.
I mean,
if you look, though, guys,
when you got Breece Hall running the ball.
It's like Macaulay Culkin. I ain't trusting him, bro.
Like in the playoff picture right now, you have your division leaders, and then you've got Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. So you assume one of those other guys, besides Miami or Buffalo, whoever doesn't win the division, that other team's going to make the playoffs. So that leaves 2 spots open. Pittsburgh and Cleveland occupy those spots now. I don't see that lasting by the end of the season. You got the Jets and the Bengals looking on the outside looking in. I think those 2 teams are the ones that are going to climb up there. I'm going treat too. I think the Jets somehow make the playoffs.
I said before the season that the Buffalo Bills will make the playoffs.
Yes,
so
you did.
that means I have Cleveland.
So you got Cleveland sneaking in.
I got Cleveland, New York.
PJ Walker.
I got Cleveland, New York,
Come
and
on,
Cincy.
bro.
Oh man, Watson. I don't know.
You trying to
man.
keep this take that bad? You gonna go PJ Walker?
Hey, gotta go with somebody.
No way, man. No
We'll
way.
keep it rolling now to the Panthers and the Texans. Bryce Young's first
That's that Baltimore
NFL
love.
win for the number 1 overall
Never.
pick. He takes down the number 2 overall pick, guys, in C.J. Stroud, who has been outperforming him through 8 weeks in the NFL regular season. Adam Thielen, another good game, 8 catches, 72 yards. Stroud struggled in this one, 16-24, just 140 yards, and Bryce Young beats C.J. Stroud. Trick or treat. Bryce Young will have a better career than C.J.
This is a horrible
That's
question.
a horrible question, Nick.
Like, we all know which way I'm leaning. I had C.J. Stroud as my top quarterback for the last 2 years. I'm going C.J. Stroud.
Neither.
Neither. Oh, man.
You
Who
don't
else
think
is in that
Stroud
class? You got
good?
another draft. Who's the other quarterback in that draft class? Like somebody else?
You ain't going Will Levis, are you? Where you going?
Hey, don't be surprised.
Oh.
You going
there
Will
go.
Levis
No.
on this? Oh, I gotta say.
That's what I thought he was doing.
No,
too.
to me.
No. Ooh, this.
This ain't that hard, bro.
C.J. Stroud. Yeah.
There you go. It's
C.J.
Stroud.
Stroud's an easy
Stroud.
one. Well, who knows? I got outplayed Bryce Young. Maybe he'll get
I
going
don't
a
want
little more.
Ant-Man.
But I'm all C.J.
No,
Stroud.
here's the thing. I say C.J. Stroud because I think the Texans are more willing to build a team around him than the Panthers are around Bryce Young. Meaning getting that proper talent.
I don't want
They're not good
Ant-Man,
at it.
yo. I'm not buying on Ant-Man, man.
The last one here for the Halloween segment, guys. Seahawks come back to beat the Browns. That was a good one yesterday, 24-20. Crucial interception for P.J. Walker late in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
It led to the Seahawks coming back and getting the win. Geno, 254, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. P.J. Walker threw 2 picks, was sacked 3 times. Trick or treat, Jason, you already said it, so I'm going to ask you. Browns make the playoffs this
Yes.
year. So he's
Yes.
treating that one. He just said it. He's going with the Browns no matter who's at quarterback going forward. Matt, trick or treat. The Browns making the playoffs.
I'm going to say Deshaun Watson's favorite trick. No.
Trick. I'm going trick. I don't think the Browns can make the playoffs.
Get him up
with
the
the
set,
way.
please. You gotta go home.
Hey, it's Halloween Eve. Anything can happen on
You
this
gotta
show.
go home, man. You
On
gotta
a
go
Monday. night.
The Browns is black licorice, man. I'm good. I don't want it. I don't want it in my bag, man. I'm good.
It's true. Leave it up. Take one. Take none. No, I'm not taking none. I'm stopping at that.
I
house.
give black licorice away, man. That and those nasty, what's the black and orange candies? They're like in
Oh,
the
I
wax
get candy
paper.
corn. I don't like candy corn.
I'll dog some candy.
Really?
corn.
I'm not a big
what
candy
the-
corn guy.
Yeah, man.
Candy corn.
Savage, man.
So you know if he's candy corn, I mean he's crayons too, right?
Oh, is that- Is that
I don't think I ate crayons, Mom. You know.
Are you watching? You tuning in? Well, let's keep it going. Monday Night Football, guys. Las Vegas Raiders and the Detroit Lions. I'm not sure of the exact date. I wrote it down wrong here, but it's the first Monday Night Football game in Detroit, and I think over 30 to 40 years.
Wow.
They have never. They've been waiting a long time to get a Monday Night Football game in Detroit.
Even with Barry?
Yeah, I think it goes back maybe to when he was there. I don't.
Like
it's
his
been a
one of his
long
early
time.
years there?
Yeah. So I have to look up the exact number here shortly.
You
but,
know what? It has to be 93. It
93 potentially.
has to be
yeah.
93. It has to be
Wow.
93.
So
Has to be.
again, that's what 30 years.
30 years. Has to
since
be.
they've had one. So they're amped up. That place is sold out. It's going to be electric tonight. Detroit 7-point favorites, guys, in this one over the visiting Raiders. The Raiders do get Jimmy Garoppolo back under center.
Oh,
What does that mean?
oh.
They have failed to crack 20 points in 7 of the past 8 games. That dates all the way back to last season. This Raiders offense has not been good. They're 30th in scoring. They average just 16 points a game, 27th in total offense.
Pick me.
Jason McCall.
Pick me, please. Why does Josh McDaniels have a job? Can anyone explain this to me? He is not equipped to be a head coach in this league. He has had a couple
not
of
a big
teams.
fan either.
He's had a couple of teams to show himself now, as far as being a head coach.
Remember 5-0 with the Broncos way back
Ah,
when? That
then
ended
they
in a
trail off.
disaster.
Some people just aren't coaches. They're coordinators, and that's where they peak. He peaks as an OC. As a coach, he is hot garbage. There's no way to explain this. And Mark Davis, you have winning products outside of the Raiders with the Aces.
Got a title. Shout out to the
back
Aces.
to back. Treat the Raiders like you treat the Aces and go get the top people, because this is not it right now.
They got
This
a
ain't
super
it.
team over there. And,
They need to build something in Vegas with the Raiders, because, again, you're going to make more money off these Raiders games at Allegiant than you are at the T-Mobile. So I'm going to need you to put some money into the Raiders and actually get some better talent in there, starting the head coach.
What do you think about what are you going to be looking for tonight? Matt, if anything, here between the Lions and the Raiders in that first Monday Night Football in Detroit.
I think Detroit going to get the win. I don't think it's going to be a close game.
I don't either.
Yeah, I
So
think.
you're going to take them with the 7?
Yeah, man. Jimmy G's basura, man. Get him out of here.
And after the beatdown that we put on them, a.k.a. the Ravens, Detroit, come off their bye, they're going to want to
They gonna want some
They're going to
revenge.
make a statement. So it's going to be
They took a beating last week.
They definitely
no, I'll wait for you. We get there for those picks and things. I'll wait for that segment, sir.
Well, let's dive right into it then. Here, quickly, guys, some of our over-unders here that I have for us, and it all starts with the flu man himself. Amon-Ra St. Brown, questionable to coming into this one. Word is he will give it a go tonight. He will play. His over-under is set at 79.5 receiving yards. Will the Sun God crack 80 tonight, man?
Is Montgomery still out?
He's still out.
Yeah.
That means you got Jahmyr Gibbs playing running back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to go 80.
Yeah.
I'm going over.
Yep.
All right, Devontae Adams coming in. He is set right here at 86.5 receiving yards. He gets Jimmy G back. He's been very vocal about his complaints within that Las Vegas Raider offense. Jason, does Devontae Adams get over his benchmark here today of 86.5 yards?
It's more like a push, but I'll go slightly over.
I'm going to go over as well. Give me the over on Devontae Adams.
I'm going under because I don't trust Jimmy G, bro.
Under there.
He can feed the tight end. He just ain't wide out.
Somebody he's been feeding, Matt. I'll give you another one here. Jacoby Myers has been great for the Raiders this year out wide. 60.5 receiving yards. Can he get to 61?
I think so.
I'm going over. I'm at 3 overs already. What about you?
Oh, yeah, Jacoby.
Over there. And let's keep rolling now here with a little rushing and get us started here with Jahmyr Gibbs. Great game last week filling in for David Montgomery when he got the start. He's back at it, going to be the starter tonight. 72.5 rushing yards. High total for Jahmyr Gibbs, highest of the year. Jason, what do you think after his performance last week?
That's a lot of money out there. Under, and I'll say why. Because they're going to use him more in the passing game.
I know what, I kind of agree with you there. I'm going to say over just because I think Detroit, they got the energy. I think, as Matt said, maybe they blow them out here tonight against the Raiders. I think everybody's heading over for the Lions.
I'm going to go under.
Under, Matt, with a few under today. Matt, I'll start with you here. Anytime touchdown, who gets in the end zone in this one on Monday Night Football?
I'll go St. Brown.
I want to say Jason, who's getting into the end zone?
I'm going to go Williams.
Jameson Williams. That's good. Getting some plus money on Jameson
That's
Williams.
why I'm getting.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Let me change it. I'm going Laporta.
Stole my answer. I'm going Sam Laporta, too.
Yeah.
Give me Sam Laporta. I do think Devontae Adams gets into the end zone, too. We saw what happened. A.J. Brown was complaining about not getting any targets. It's tough to do when you don't have your starting quarterback. Garoppolo is back. He's at least, I think, serviceable. I think he'll get the ball to Devontae Adams over and over again. I think he goes over and gets into the end zone. Guys, picks the Lions -7.
Yeah. You're not serviceable.
I'm rolling with the Lions and the points.
Ain't nobody picking against the Lions.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Lions, we're all taking the points then.
All
Lions, giving 7 at home. You got it. 3 for 3 on the desk. Dennis, what about you? Detroit. So it's a clean sweep. Here at DETV. Now, before we head out, I just want to get NBA started on Tuesday. Sixers started their season on Thursday. We've had some action here over the weekend, so we're about through 1 week in the NBA, guys. Matt and Jason, just want to talk about your first impressions of the NBA. We've seen the Bucks now. We've seen the new look Celtics. We've seen the defending champs, the Nuggets, back this year. We've seen Wembanyama and the Spurs. The Suns are already dealing with injuries. This is quite something over there out in Phoenix right now. Matt, initial takeaways from the first week in the NBA.
I mean, yeah, good little series that I'm seeing out here. I think Denver's going to be strong as usual. I really like what I'm seeing in New Orleans. If Zion can stay healthy.
He looks good.
He looks really good. I'm excited for what they can do maybe. And, look, Boston has probably been the most impressive team I've seen so far
in
the East.
Thank you.
So,
and Jason, I'll say this: I've gotten into a few arguments, and I don't know why they've been arguments. I guess not arguments, but it's if you look at the two teams in the East, you're thinking Bucks and Celtics. I've been on the Celtics now since they made those trades. I think they're the best team in the East. What is that to you? Is it the Bucks or the Celtics right now for you?
Right now,
it's
the Celtics. But I think once Dame gets a little more acclimated to Milwaukee, they're going to make have a nice win streak throughout the season. But I want to say my favorite team so far outside of Boston, obviously, I like what the Clippers are doing. I like Bones on that second unit.
Shout out Busy.
And I like Bones and line up together with Westbrook. I've watched every Clippers game so far. There is something about him, Westbrook, on the floor together with PG and Kawhi. I'm going to say right now, Bones Highland's going to be 6th man of the year.
Oh, wow, we'd love to see that. And, guys, again, this is without merit. We have nothing to go off of. These won't be our official championship preview picks. We're just going to throw out, have some fun here. What's your NBA Finals preview as we are just a week into the season? We'll make our official picks here in a few weeks. But here we are. It's only been about 2 games per team so far. What do you think? What is your NBA Finals preview for this year?
Finals preview. I'm going Boston and Clippers.
I don't hate it, man. What about you?
I'm going Denver and Milwaukee.
Denver and Milwaukee. To me, before the season, I was leaning the Suns. The Suns are my pick out of the Western Conference. I thought it'd be them and the Nuggets in the conference finals. They're already battling injuries. Bradley Beal is yet to play. Booker's missed the last 2 games already. Just, again, I'm not sure of the extent of these injuries. Maybe they're trying to be careful early on the season because they have to rely on those 5 guys going forward, especially come playoff time. But as of right now, I'm going to go back to the Nuggets. I don't like the injury stuff here with the Suns. Hopefully they get that figured out. So I'm going to leave them behind, go with the Nuggets, and then Celtics as well. So I'm going Nuggets, Celtics this early. Very, way too early.
Yeah, way too early.
Way too early.
Here in the NBA. So there you have it. Let's get home, watch some Monday Night Football. Again, Detroit and the Raiders should be a good one there. And then got some more NBA tonight as well. So things heating up the World Series. Texas Rangers and Arizona Diamondbacks.
You didn't talk about that.
Oh, we didn't talk about that.
Is it game 1? We got another
Games,
time?
Red October still in effect? Is
Red
Red October
1-1.
Red October, man?
Red October.
What? Such haters on the desk here in Wilmington, Delaware.
Listen, my team got swept by the Rangers. I'm over here. Let's talk about it.
The hunt for Red October.
If we had to pick, though,
It's
guys,
still a hunt.
It's still a hunt.
Rangers. I'm going Rangers for the series. Diamondbacks or Rangers.
I gotta say with the AL, man.
And again, I had the Rangers way back when. I should
Way back
have
what?
talked about baseball on the show.
What, way back last week?
No, when your boy came when we were talking about the first time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
So that was a while back then.
So Ryan, we need
I
you
had
on here,
Rangers,
man.
Yeah.
We need you on here for baseball, man, for
We
the rest
might
of the
have
series,
here
bro.
coming up. So what do you think, Rangers or Diamondbacks, man?
I'm going Diamondbacks. Everybody's going Rangers.
Rangers. Hey.
And I don't care.
I'll tell you what, though. Me and Jason did lose on the WNBA finals. Congratulations. We had the Liberty. Matt had the Aces there, so he got
Yeah,
that.
I don't know
Did
why
you guys
y'all
watch
did
the
that
final?
to-
That,
I
that
did.
was a heck of a-
I did.
Whew.
I did.
That was an unbelievable
And
game.
I need people to understand who the real MVP should have been this year.
Of course. I only picked
And I was
the
with you.
Liberty
I thought they were gonna
because
do it,
I
too.
thought it was their time.
Put the camera on him. He's changed up now.
I picked them because I thought it was their time. They've been in the finals like, 4 or 5 times, and they finally got one, but
They
Agent
blew
Wilson's
that
still the
last
MVP of the
game,
league.
too. They should have won that last game. That was
Jackie
it.
Young, Sid Colson, Kia Stokes. I can go down on the roster with the Aces. They have a stacked roster, and she clapped it up for Asia and the Aces. They finally got to see Usher after asking 2 years. They finally went to the concert last night.
That's right.
They
That
finally
was
got to
the
go out
beautiful-
there. So it
Shout
paid
out,
off.
Shout out to the Aces. Let's
Shout out.
check out some of this Monday Night Football game again tonight, and then you'll hear from us again next Monday. So, guys, closing words as we head out on a Halloween Eve. Everyone be safe tomorrow night.
The Grizzlies can't get Ja Morant back fast enough. They're 0-3 right now. They look really bad on the court right
And
now.
they're getting dunked on, too. I see Jaren Jackson getting dunked on a few times. Tyrese Maxey on the Sixers looking good. That's my thing, Matt.
Go Phils.
Man, let's Dennis, shut it down, Dennis. Shut the show down. That'll do it for us. We'll see you next week.